He even lucked up and being drafted to arguably the most talked about and watched franchise in NBA history, the Los Angeles Lakers. Or is it a complete nightmare? You know who Isaiah Wong is. How about Guy Santos? I'm pretty sure you've heard of Aaron Wiggins, who's coming off the bench for the number one team out west, the OKC Thunder. What I'm trying to get at is that all these guys have something in common with Bronny James. They were all the 55th pick in their drafts. I can't remember a single article about Wong. No front page of ESPN for Guy. Wiggins has had some solid games for the Thunder, but I don't think his name has popped up on a Calvin Coward or ESPN First Take segment ever. Yet here we are. Another week, another game, and another big blow up about Bronny James and his status in the NBA. Before I get too far into this, we have covered Bronny very little on this channel, and I think for good reason. He's the 55th pick in a very weak 2024 NBA draft. We didn't talk about Isaiah Wong last year when we started the podcast at all because, well, he was the 55th pick and likely needs time to develop his game to even be a full-time roster member. So saying that, we on this channel treat Bronny as what he is, a development player who just happens to have lucked out and been the byproduct of maybe the most polarizing NBA great of all time, LeBron James. He even lucked up and being drafted to arguably the most talked about and watched franchise in NBA history, the Los Angeles Lakers. Or is it a complete nightmare? Let's stop analyzing. Let's stop the prognostication, the hyper-examining of a 55th pick in the NBA. Let's just be honest. You see, the problem is we mix the facts with what ifs and what could be's. The facts are Bronny is an undersized guard. He's even undersized for the point guard role, where his 6'2" frame is shorter than the average 6'3" point guard average height. And ultimately, he's not a point guard. He handles the ball okay, but not nearly good enough to run the point at the NBA level. Or maybe just playing the position to have someone at said position, but really playing off ball as a combo guard. He doesn't shoot the ball well. I mean, he's shooting 36% from the field, 21% from three in the G League. There goes the label of a 3-and-D guy for an undersized combo guard. You can't guard NBA level guards, obviously. I saw people saying Tyrese Maxey cooked him. Well, let's put that into perspective. Maxey is a perennial all-star level NBA guard who has had a few years to fill into that role. Bronny is a 55th pick in the league that only likely 29 other teams would not even be on the main roster, or if he is, would play very little. The fact of the matter is that he's not his dad. His game was going to be put in such a microscope, both sides of the fence would weigh in so heavy, he wouldn't get a fair shot. You have the cult that is known as LeBron fans, who at any sign of relevance will puff their chests and proclaim, this is why their savior is the king. But most of that relevance comes from the G League, where he belongs, and comes against peers more his skill level that had he stayed in college would likely be the type of players he would be playing against. Then there's the LeBron haters who for some weird reason wants Bronny to fail because it somehow diminishes LeBron's legacy or status. Huh? I don't get it. And some may label me a LeBron hater, and that's fine. While I'm not a fan of his, I do respect his status in the NBA and his game. I just don't want to project that onto a 20-year-old that obviously wants to live out his dream and be a true NBA player. This is where I have to blame LeBron James. I'm sorry. But having a son that plays the game and plays it pretty well, I try to stay in the background and allow him to grow and to get to his next levels on his own volition. This is why I won't coach him. This is why I won't become buddy-buddy with his coaches, because I do not want him to have any either perceived or actual advantage over anyone. I want everything earned. And if I feel he has that in him, I'm going to leave him to do just that. Earn it. So why I have to blame LeBron is this whole thing just seems a little selfish. I know it was on his bucket list, and as a father, it'll be tough for me to not want that exact thing too. But LeBron isn't dumb. He knows how split the fandom is and how cruel some of media, especially content creators, can be. So he set Bronny up for failure. I'm not even referring to the tweet he had a few years ago when I think Bronny was still in high school or his freshman year at USC. I'm just talking about the photo op he had to have. This is where he should have thought about Bronny first and realized that the bucket list moment could still happen, but in his infinite wisdom, he should have let the chips fall where they were going to. He should have let Bronny go to a team that really valued his upside and what he could bring in the future. A team that was ready to start the process of helping develop a young player in a more natural and no pressure or low pressure environment so that he can grow into a player that some think he can be. Let's face it, the Lakers are not a low pressure franchise. Wearing the purple and gold for most comes with huge expectations. But after 55th pick, that should not even be a thing for him. Obviously, the Lakers are a playoff team and a win now team, which means he should live in the G League where he can grow and not be thrown out to the wolves where any and every minuscule mistake is going to be maximized by many, when in reality shouldn't even be in the game unless it's a blowout one way or the other. As a father with a son, I would hate to be in LeBron's shoes. But I wouldn't mind those paychecks, but having to be a part of the ridicule and criticism of your own namesake, it has to not only bother Bronny, but probably LeBron even more. Your position as a parent, especially as a father, is to shield your children from the harsh realities of the world, even as they go into it as an adult. Your parent duties never quite just go away. But unfortunately, the bucket list got the best of King James. I just hope and wish the media and creators would treat Bronny for what he is. Not only the 55th pick in the NBA draft, but the 55th pick in a bad NBA draft. Obviously, the kid isn't ready. And from the looks of the names that have filled that 55th spot, not many were. If he had only had the opportunity to go where the team wanted him more for what he brings to the table, rather than photo ops and storylines, I believe he would be who he can be. But being under the spotlight, we will see the true nature of his character and whether that drives him to work harder or completely wrecks his psyche and leads to a quicker fizzle out than most. So with that said, no more 55th pick talk from us because, well, he's doing what he should be doing, trying to grow. Thank you guys. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. So once again, thank you for supporting the channel and definitely come back to check out the GOATcast podcast.